What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here to talk a little Underdog NBA Playoff Best Ball. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Underdog is your one-stop shop for all your best ball, fantasy, and pick'em prop needs. And we have a great offer for new users. You can get a 100% first deposit match bonus up to $100 by clicking the link in the description of this video or using promo code Stokastic. I did a little intro video for Underdog Playoff Best Ball last week, but my thinking has changed a little bit. Not a ton, but I've thought about it a little bit more. My thinking shifted a little bit. So I want to do a draft here and talk a little bit about what has changed in my thinking. I've already entered this draft. Let's see, is it it's starting in 40 seconds and I have the fourth pick. That is interesting. So I'll tell you, I said this in the last video. I think the first thing you need to know in these drafts is which teams are likely to make the playoffs and then which teams are likely to make the finals. You can find that I just Googled a couple different places showing their predictions. You can see here playoff odds and then chance of making the finals, which is important, of course, because this is a round by round cumulative format. So you need to kind of predict who's going to make the finals. And because you need to have at least 5 players to make it into your lineup, one big, one wing, one guard, and then 2 flex spots in your lineup. So you need to have a roster of 4 players. Most likely to win the big money, you're going to need to have 5 players available in that final round. So you need to pick 2 teams that are going to make the finals and kind of build from there. The one way that my thinking has changed a little bit, so you can see here, I'm looking at one of the playoff probabilities, and then Basketball Reference also has a little, playoff odds, win conference odds, which of course is the same as making the finals. So you can kind of see who they're predicting has the best odds. Phoenix Suns, not looking that hot, only a 12% chance of making it to the finals. Just not I think that these sites are kind of underrating them, at least relative to how everybody else views these teams. All right, so my pick is up. I wouldn't mind betting on the Sixers making it. What do we have? The Sixers have a 16% chance of making the finals. I don't mind that one bit. I think that Embiid might be the best available option here. I could consider, Durant going down to Brown, but Tatum's already out of the picture. I'm going to start by going to Embiid here. So I'm going to draft Embiid. So now the biggest way that my thinking has changed is I had been kind of inclined to build for like one team that like I'm picking this team to make the finals. So like here I picked the Sixers. So maybe I would choose a bunch of Sixers players right away. And then from there, I've been kind of focusing on taking multiple teams from the opposing conference. I think I'm changing that up a little bit here. So let me think about this for a second. I mean, if Harden's there, maybe I just go right back to Harden. Not that exciting. Probably a lot of people are going to have it. But if the Sixers make the finals, I'm not going to be mad about having Embiid and Harden. So I'll see what Fave for Prez does here. Favre for Prez. Favre. All right, let's see. Really waiting it out. Okay. So I could take Luka. I don't think it's that likely that Dallas makes the finals. What do we have here? Not even in the playoffs right now. Yeah, 3% chance. I'm just going to go right back, take Harden here. Could consider taking Steph Curry also. Or Jamal Murray. I guess I could have built out for a Sixers Milwaukee. Sorry, not Milwaukee. Sixers Denver finals. One way to build out. But so the biggest way my thinking has changed is I think I'm just trying to get 5 players. I'm trying to pick 2 teams. So I'm not trying to say this is my team and then choose 3 different scenarios where it could be a different team. Just because I think you need such high scores in these contests that I think I'd rather focus on just taking 5 good players from the 2 teams that I'm predicting to make the finals, and then take 5 one-offs or little groupings, but not really don't really worry as much about the conference and just focus on which players have the biggest upside. Because if I'm taking 5 players from the 2 teams I'm thinking are going to make the finals, they're probably not the best projected players in the first round. There's also it's a 7-game series, so maybe the 1 seeds from each conference are a little bit more likely to just win in 4 or 5 games, whereas maybe the closer, maybe some of the other games are going to go to 7 games and you'd rather have somebody else. So my thinking has shifted a little bit. All right, so No Sixers near the top here. Now I am going to think about, do I want to take somebody from the Western Conference? I could go with Chris Paul. Aaron Gordon still available. Honestly, this is a tough call for me. Who do I want to go with here? I'm going to think about it. I'm going to go with, I guess I'll go with Aaron Gordon. Let the wing status break the tie here. Now I also want to look up, so I'm going to just search out some. All right. Get some Sixers players in my queue. Let's see if I made a huge mistake there with Aaron Gordon. All right. Top 3 down there. Michael Porter Jr. is still somebody that I wouldn't mind having in there. So I think it's okay. Yeah. What I don't love is that now we've got that's big drop off. I probably don't want to focus. Don't really need the Bruce Browns, the Contavious Caldwell Popes here. But I could go hope that Tyrese Maxey comes back to me. So if I got to MPJ and Tyrese Maxey, I think that build could be okay. I'd have to reach a little bit for MPJ here. And then Maxey. I think Maxey's ADP is actually rising a little bit, so that's not as big a concern. Now that he's starting, I think he's looking better than when these drafts started. He was still on the bench. So the question here is, could I get away with it? Because I really want to get both of them, because otherwise I don't think I can really get 2 great players from these teams. I think I'm going to risk it here. I think you got to risk it with these. So I am going to take, I don't think John Morant necessarily plays again this season, so I don't think I'm taking that risk. Okay, I could take Chris Middleton. The Bucks likely to make it. Obviously, I'm hoping for the Sixers to make the finals here. So I'm hoping that the Bucks don't, but still, I think the Bucks make it out of round 1 at least. Might as well go Middleton here. All right, now I'm not gonna force my luck, push my luck anymore. Next time up, I'm gonna try and take Michael Porter Jr. if he is still available for me, which I'm right at the ADP here. It's kind of risky. But so anyway, I'm thinking so what won it last year was somebody had 5 players from the finals and then 5 one-offs. That is what won last year. And I think that makes sense because for this, unlike like NFL, I was focused more on like, I'm going to choose this one team and I'm going to take the quarterback from that team. And then I'm going to build out, 3 or 4 players from that team and then build out multiple scenarios for what the run back could be. And you could do that here also and just say, I'm taking the Sixers and then I'm going to focus on a couple different Western Conference teams that I think have a chance of playing against the Sixers in the finals. That's totally a viable way to do it. But with NBA, with the scores that you need in this contest as opposed to NFL, you're going to need big scores to advance each round. I think it makes more sense to focus on just picking 2 teams and then say, I'm going to take star power elsewhere. Like I'm just not going to worry about, trying to mix in 3 or 4 different teams. I'm just going to take star power. Now you could still do the same approach. Like here where I'm taking the Sixers, I could do the same thing and say like, Anthony Edwards, he's going to put up a lot of points most likely in the first round. So you could say, okay, I'm going to, build in multiple teams. I'm going to take a few players from the Timberwolves, some of these back end teams that are less likely to make it to the finals. Of course, I would love it if the Timberwolves make the finals, but unlikely. So I think that, it's possible to still take that approach of taking one primary team and then multiple. Oh, nice. MPJ made it back to me. Love to see that. So now sweating this Maxey. Is Maxey going to make it back to me? I guess if Maxey doesn't, I could take Tobias Harris. Let me make sure I actually have the right positions here. All right, so I've got a guard, I've got a wing, I've got a center, and then I just need 2 flex. So yeah, I'm looking good for a Sixers Denver final. Hopefully I can get Maxey, maybe Tobias Harris. But here's a spot where I think that I'm not going to take both. So if I get Maxey, maybe I don't take Tobias Harris because I'm really just hoping for the best 5 there. All right, Maxey made it back to me. So now I've already built up I've got a full lineup for a Philly Denver finals. So if I can make it to the finals and that's the nuts, I'll win. But so the hard part is actually getting to the finals also. And of course, this also has to be the nuts. And maybe Tobias Harris is in the nuts instead of Tyrese Maxey, for example. But I picked these 5. I think rather than building out from, getting 6 players in the finals, I'm going to see if I can find some more star power, some players who are less likely to make it to the finals, but maybe will score more in the first round, hopefully second round, and get me to advance. Because at this point, I'm just hoping for this to be the nuts in the finals. So what do I have? 2 guards, 3 wings, 1 center. I don't think I necessarily need to take another center because I've got Embiid here. Pretty strong at guard with Harden there. Really just taking the best available, I think, at this point. So, like, here we go. Here's my boy. So, I want to take my Timberwolves. So I might just go with Anthony Edwards as somebody who, could just go off in the first round. Timberwolves, not even. I'm probably taking a little, homerism going on here. 57% chance of making the playoffs, according to Basketball Reference. Timberwolves have 71% here, 538. So it's risky to take Ant here, but if the Timberwolves do make the playoffs and if they make it up to like the 6th seed and they're not facing one of the 1 seeds, I think they're Ant can put up a lot of fantasy points in round 1. So I think he makes some sense. And also, I'm just letting my my biases kick in here. So let's see if I can find somebody else. So at this point, I'm not focusing on taking multiple Timberwolves. You could, obviously, like I said, you could build out for multiple scenarios. And here I've got 3. Actually, I could very easily take a wing from the Timberwolves and build out for that also. No, sorry, a guard from the Timberwolves. Take Mike Conley. That wouldn't be the worst pick. But I'm really at this point just focused on who do I think could put up a lot of fantasy points. See, now if Tobias Harris makes it back to me, now I might have to think about taking him because now he's fallen kind of late and he's might be a good value anyway. And I'm already counting on the Sixers making it to the finals. So that means that he's getting me points every round. All right. At this point, I skip past him and I'm taking him past ADP. Maybe I'll consider taking Tobias Harris here. Let me just think if there's anybody here. Ooh, Mikal Bridges. What is Brooklyn's odds? 98%. I'm taking Mikal Bridges if I can get back there in time. Where is he? Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I think Mikal Bridges. Should have looked at that earlier. Didn't really study these, but I think Mikal Bridges is a guy who's putting up a lot of fantasy points. And now that he's in Brooklyn, Brooklyn looking like they're going to make the playoffs. They're in the 6th seed right now. Yeah, I actually like. I think Mikal Bridges makes a lot of sense here. He's a guy who's putting up just a ton of fantasy points now. Now I might have to think about probably don't need any more wings. So I'm going to focus on some guards here. Maybe Derek White, Trae Young. What's Atlanta's odds here? 51% to make the playoffs. Interesting. He just got drafted. Dame Lillard, Blazers, 3% chance. All right, I'm not going to draft Dame. The Raptors, 37% chance. If they do make the play, I guess, wait. Siakam's a wing. Not taking wings here. OKC. 11% chance. Okay. All right, it's back to me. Who do I want to take here? Could go Gobert. I think I want another guard here. Might as well just go with Derek White. He'll be there. Should be there for multiple rounds, most likely. I'm going to go ahead and take Derek White. Now Jordan Poole. Thinking about it. Maybe, if it comes back to me, I'm taking Jordan Poole. Man, I still didn't take Tobias Harris, huh? I think because I went with Mikal Bridges. All right, I'm happy with that choice. Now, if Tobias Harris makes it back to me at this point, I'm taking him. Nah, I only have 3 guards though. Honestly, you can probably tell I'm going back and forth on whether I want Tobias Harris here. I'm getting him so late if I can draft him here. Embiid, just having Embiid as my big, like he's probably going to put up, probably don't need another big. There's nobody else who's going to outscore him, assuming the Sixers make it to the finals. Unless, some maybe if I wanted to take Gobert, if we think the Timberwolves play a 7-game series. Wait, but I can. Oh, I hate that I built out this way because now I'm not building this correctly in terms of number of wings versus guards and bigs. But at this point, I think my wings are the weakest. I'm doing it. I don't usually build this way with 3 guards, 6 wings, 1 big. That is not great roster construction. I'm going to be upfront about that. That's not usually the best way I want to build. It makes some sense in that in this case, my first 2 picks were a big and a guard. So, I've kind of got that guard spot on lockdown with Harden, that big spot on lockdown with Embiid, taking a little bit more, a few more wings and adding a little bit of, bulk behind it rather than not taking the elite wing players who are likely to make it to the finals, but just getting them in bulk, I think makes some sense. And really, if it is, Denver, Philly, it's not like there are many better. Aaron Gordon, I could have taken. Let's see here. Where do I check results? So completed, 10 entries. Yeah, so my guards, I think it's fine. Harden, obviously, great. Maxey and White kind of competing for one of those flex spots. Yeah, it's not the worst roster construction just because I have Embiid at big, so I don't need another big there. I've got Embiid at a guard spot. And then I need somebody to compete for that starting wing spot and then just trying to find best available for those flex spots. So yeah, it's not the worst as far as taking a roster that has 6 wings and only 1 big. I think that it kind of makes sense in terms of allocation of talent. So I'm kind of happy with this. But again, the biggest shift in my thinking, although I did end up with 4 Philly players here, that's because I got Tobias Harris at the 57 pick when he is an ADP of 42. But in general, I'm just trying to focus on picking 2 teams that can make the finals, building around just 5 players from those 2 teams, and then from there, not worrying about conference, just worrying about like who are going to put up fantasy points in the first round, hopefully second round of the playoffs to really help you advance. And from there, if you get to the third round of the conference championships, at that point, just having a number of bodies is going to help you. I mean, it still obviously helps to have a lot of talent, but really the early rounds is where you need to be focused more on just maximizing your fantasy production. So focusing more on rather than just taking more and more players from specific teams that I think have a shot of making the finals, just taking the star power, the guys who are likelier to put up a lot of fantasy points in the first round, hopefully second round. So I love Mikal Bridges here at an ADP of 52. I think he's a guy that I'm probably going to get a good amount of. But players like that, players that I think are going to be stars for as long as they're in the playoffs, focusing on that with my back 5 as opposed to getting more players that I think could make the finals, because I think you're going to need a lot of fantasy points to advance each round. So you just got to, I think, focus on pick 2 teams that you think are going to make the finals, and from there, just build out the highest upside lineup that you can for those one-offs. Anyway, I thought that was a fun draft, a little bit of a unique construction. Not my favorite draft that I've done, but I thought it went okay. I think I got, I've always got those 5 for the finals, but I also think I have some star power to make it there. So my biggest concern here being, what if the Sixers, just blow out the other team in the first round? It's a four-game series. Obviously, I could get knocked off pretty early there, but obviously we're hoping for the best here. So anyway, not the worst draft I've done. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. You can, hit me up in the comments of this video. Hit me up on Twitter at PlayerQDFS. I'm always answering DMs. So if you have questions about this format or anything really, feel free to hit me up. Thanks a lot. Good luck.